So to be clear, Mr. Trump has no financial relationships with any Russian oligarchs.
That's what he said. That's what I said. That's obviously what our position is.
I'm not aware of any of those activities. I have been called a surrogate at a time or two in that campaign, and I did not have communications with the Russians.
What do I have to get involved with Putin for? I have nothing to do with Putin. I've never spoken to him. I don't know anything about him other than he will respect me. Russia, if you're listening, I hope you're able to find the 30,000 emails that are missing.
So, it is political. You're a communist.
No, Mr. Green. Communism is just a red herring. Like all members of the oldest profession, I'm a capitalist.
Hey, welcome to Mueller, She Wrote. My name is AG. I go by a pseudonym because of the Hatch Act. I work for the federal government. I'm not allowed to associate myself or my title in the federal government with anything political. So I'm over here being ethical, and meanwhile, your president added into the tax bill a break for people who own private jets, golf courses, and, of course, wineries.
It's about time they got a break, right?
So, for ethics, AG 1, Trump 0. With me, as always, is Jaleesa. Say hi, Jaleesa Johnson.
Hey.
And our special guest today is Zach Mueller, a salacious comedy producer, comedian himself, booker, just pretty fucking cool guy.
I mean, reasonably cool. I don't think I need any expletives added to my coolness.
Oh, but it's genuine.
I'm working on my family-friendly act, Miss.
Oh, pardon me.
AG.
Excuse shit.
My bad.
You know what? Bleep it out.
There we go.
There it is.
Thank you. All right, so everybody's introed, and now I just want to get into it because I have again, every week I think it's going to be a slow news week, and nothing super major happened this week. I mean, if you compare it to other weeks, any other normal news cycle, all of this would be super major. There's just a lot of it. So, like, I have very thin hair. I just have a lot of it. So that's kind of how this works. So right now we're going to get into just the facts. All right, the first fact I have on here is Dianne Feinstein, I call her Di-Fi, says that the Senate Intelligence Committee is now investigating Trump for obstruction. Mm-hmm. Or at least they're doing their best. I think the Republicans are trying to stonewall it a little bit.
Right.
That's not a fact. That's just me. Next, a new poll out says Trump's approval rating is at 32%. All-time low. His disapproval rating is at 63%.
What was it before? 33?
33.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
33 to 62. Now it's 32 to 63.
It took a while for that. It's the tax bill, you think?
It's ticking down. I don't know what it is. It could be Jerusalem. It could be.
Oh, yeah.
It could be all. It could just be him. It may be some of his. I mean, maybe some of his people lost their health care and they died. I don't know.
Oh yeah, that could.
What do you think it would take him to get into like the teens?
You know what?
What would he have? Would he have to like? Would he have to like donkey punch Jesus?
Even baby Jesus.
Well,
gotta be baby Jesus.
Yeah, adult Jesus. They wouldn't even be having it. It'd have to be baby.
It's like 20s.
Yeah, he'd like to have to dangle baby Jesus out of a hotel window like Michael Jackson.
My God, yes.
And it has to be, by the way, a white baby Jesus.
White baby Jesus.
Definitely.
All right, black baby Jesus. He's still hovering around
15%.
31%, dude.
He'll tick up for black baby, baby Jesus.
Black baby Jesus isn't a real thing.
Oh, no. That's another episode.
According to the 32%.
But yeah, it's ticking down. And what would it take, man? I don't know, but we'll see. His next approval rating, Pew poll, will come out after he endorsed
Roy Moore?
a hepaphile. I was corrected. It's not a pedophile, it's a hepaphile.
Okay.
A pedophile is prepubescent. These
Interesting. HEPA.
pubescent.
Right, which makes this such a simple situation for like I'm a 38-year-old dude.
Right.
Got a reasonable amount of creepy in my veins.
Sure.
I keep my creepy at bay because I'm a father of a daughter, I'm a husband to a wife, I'm a son to a mother, and I'm a civilized human being.
You're a human on the planet.
Right. With that being said, me and every grown straight male on the planet has seen a high school girl or multiple high school girls and been like, okay. Mm-hmm. Now, with that being said, Roy Moore's next thought is...
Let me approach them.
Let me do that right now.
This isn't a high school girl. This is a 14-year-old. This is
even
a little
then, they're
different.
like, it's almost freshmen, so I'll give you this, Zach.
My point is, a developed underage girl where you glance and then have a moment of truth. Roy
Right.
Moore's moment of truth is, let me get that. My moment of truth is, I hope my wife leaves me by the time that girl turns 25. Which I think is more appropriate.
Keeping it real. I appreciate the
25 is old enough. They can rent a car, they can make a bad decision
Gotta
with
have
an older
dreams,
man.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
I dig it.
All right, next. Kushner, womp womp, forgot to disclose that he was on the board that funded an illegal Israeli settlement. Bum, ba, bum.
Oh my goodness.
He just, I think he's amended his financial disclosure like 39 times
We
or
gotta
something.
have a count or a calendar. It's been this many days since he amended his
Without an
documents.
incident. Yeah, exactly. Trump lawyer, Dowd, he's really interesting.
Oh, yes, the
claims
colonel.
that he wrote the tweet where Trump said, I had to fire Michael Flynn because he lied to Pence and the FBI.
Yeah.
Well, Trump's lawyer said, I wrote the tweet, even though he would have never used it. He said plead to. He would have said pleaded to if it was a real lawyer.
It's a loyal lawyer.
And that he I wrote that. Okay. Nobody thinks that. That's Sunday, you guys. We've covered Sunday.
That's what you're saying his lawyers are? Because I read Breitbart yesterday, and I'm verbatim, this is what they said
Yeah.
his lawyer's response was. They said that Dowd's response to Trump's tweet was, hey guys, what do Trump and Steven Seagal have in common?
What?
The press corps was like, we don't know. He was like, they're above the law.
He really.
He said that. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's not fucking
Yeah.
around.
Now, CNN left that out, but I appreciate that point.
Guys, that was just Sunday.
That was just Sunday.
That was what they said Sunday.
Oh my
Things
goodness.
will change as we go through the week.
Definitely.
And here we go through the week. Monday, Trump's lawyer now says the president cannot obstruct justice because he is justice.
Oh yeah.
And collusion isn't a crime. So they've changed their story from he's innocent to
Did he equate him to justice?
No.
Trump
He
is
is
justice?
justice.
well,
Yes.
he's the ultimate law enforcement. He's the head of law enforcement in this country. Therefore, he can't obstruct law enforcement because he is the head of law
It's
enforcement.
insane. But they're spinning it like I've never heard before.
So, like, Trump is in charge of what's right, and
Therefore,
he
he can never be
decides
wrong.
what's right. No.
That's what they're saying.
Yeah, but people have tried to say this before.
Yeah, they were
Nixon's
This doesn't work out.
Nixon's
So why don't we
people
just go ahead and get it over
They
with?
don't want to go to jail so soon if they don't have to.
Nobody's going to jail.
What do you think will happen?
Do I think anybody? I think Trump is going. Here's what I think. I'm seeing a few different timelines, all very possible at this point, based on the things we've seen that we thought we'd never see. I think most probable is that stuttering thing was a precursor to a medicinal bow out, and I don't mean he gets his wreck. I mean his family, Ivanka comes all sad and well dressed and says that poor daddy has succumbed to Parkinson's or some type of degenerative disease.
He has to step away.
He's gonna have to step away. Unfortunately, some of the awkward moments in this past year have been due to his. I assure you,
That would be an out.
I assure you, his meaning, what make America great again is what he strived to do every morning, and our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ chose to take that away from him
Oh my gosh.
before he could complete his mission. However,
She's a Jew.
we implore all of you who chose to make America great again to keep doing
continue.
it. We'll be over at Breitbart cashing checks, bitch. See us at Mar-a-Lago.
We really do need like a conspiracy theory segment. I feel like this is perfect for that.
I've got a couple of good ones this
Based
week.
on Breitbart's
Okay.
website, he has made CNN way more money this year than Breitbart.
Oh, I've
That
watched
shit
more
still
now
look,
than
that
ever.
still looks a little WordPressy.
Sure, yeah.
They need to invest in some web design if they want to consider themselves a big boy voice.
You should apply. I've seen
I
your site.
don't web design. My site's garbage.
All right, so after that, so first of all, Trump's lawyer said, I tweeted the thing. The next day, they said Trump's lawyer said the president can't obstruct justice and collusion is not a crime. Then we learned Don McGahn, another Trump lawyer, told Trump that Flynn misled the FBI before Comey was fired.
Right.
So now they've come out and just straight out admitted that Trump knew.
Yeah.
That Comey at least misled the FBI, if not
Right.
lied to him. So, yes, Obama warned him. Yes, Sally Yates warned him. Well, now his lawyer's coming out and said, yeah, I told him to. Mm-hmm. And we'll get into Hope Hicks knew as well.
Right.
Next, Manafort violated his bail agreement Oh my God.
Yeah.
See, he was arrested and he was let out on bail. They gave him an ankle bracelet and put him under house arrest, and he had to put up 4 of his properties as collateral for the bail, and he couldn't leave the country. And then they were going to relax his bail agreement a little, let him take off the anklet, let him move around the country. Couldn't leave the country, but let him travel a little bit and get him off house arrest. But there was a part of his bail agreement was because after Manafort was arrested, the day Manafort pleaded not guilty in court, his lawyer came out and said, Russia's a hoax, this is bullshit, fake news, blah, blah, blah. And immediately the judge put a gag order on these motherfuckers and said, you are not allowed to talk about Russia in the public because you could sway a jury or a grand jury. And no, you have to, it's a gag order. Stop talking about Russia. So what does Manafort do? He starts working with a Russian connected to the Kremlin, writing an op-ed about Russia that is supposed to be published.
All while on house arrest?
All while on fucking,
on gag order.
Yeah, on a gag order.
I guess that would be the bigger point.
So his lawyer couldn't have known he was doing this, or he would strongly advise not to write an op-ed with Russians about Russia.
When you're on a gag order to not talk about Russia. Not only am I going to talk about Russia, I'm going to do it with Russians. Go after yourself. And
he was doing it under a pseudonym.
Oh,
which I got to give him. I have a pseudonym, so I understand. Hey, fist bump.
But you're not under a gag order.
No.
From a federal judge.
Correct.
That's crazy.
So he violated his bail agreement. I don't know yet if he's got to put the anklet back on or whatever. But remember, I was sad. I was like, oh, he has to take his anklet off. But now maybe I'll be happy.
Not so much, yeah.
Trump tells reporters he will declare Jerusalem the capital of Israel, which it was declared in 1995, but he's going to sign it, make it official, and move the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem.
Go ahead.
Now, what does this have to do with Russia? I'll tell you later.
Sounds good.
The justice.gov/SCO for Special Counsel Office website crashed. It was out for 9 hours the day Manafort screwed up his bail agreement. I don't know why. I just thought it was interesting to mention.
Is that the site where all the documents are?
It's where everything is about the special counsel.
Okay.
FBI Director Wray, W-R-A-Y, sent an email to 35,000 FBI employees expressing his confidence.
And who is that guy? I'm sorry?
He's the director of the FBI.
Was he the dude beneath Comey when Comey got the boot?
He was second in line,
I think
right?
so.
Yeah.
So he's Comey's replacement.
I don't know. I honestly can't remember if Trump appointed him out separately or if he moved up.
Just moved up. Yeah, it seems that way.
Okay.
But he is the guy who met with that conspiracy theory guy on Trump's behest. Trump's behest.
Yeah.
But he sent an email to the FBI saying, "You guys are great. I love you. I have every confidence in you. You're doing a good job.
Nice.
You're doing great."
Yeah.
And he did that because Trump tweeted, "The FBI was in tatters." Okay, which. Obstruction of justice.
I think his brain is in tatters.
I don't understand why we can't put a gag order on Trump. McCain,
he's the lead gagger. You can't gag.
Yeah, you can't gag the gagger.
He is the gag.
He is the gag.
Nice.
You can't justice Trump because he is justice. You can't gag Trump because he is gag. You can't fuck Trump because he is fuck.
Oh my God.
You can't beat Trump because he is beat.
You can't trump a Trump, man.
You can't trump a Trump, dude. There it is.
You can go nil, which is what we're doing. Don McGahn, the guy who I told you is the guy who told Trump that Flynn misled the FBI before he fired Comey.
Yeah.
He is being called back in to testify, being interviewed by Mueller's team this week.
Okay.
Since he revealed that he told Trump about Flynn prior to the firing of Comey.
Interesting. Yeah.
All right, Tuesday.
Oh my God.
Jiminy Christmas.
John Conyers resigns. Okay, and he was gonna let his term go.
Yeah.
And not run again in 2018. He just resigned.
Is that the other creepy guy again?
No, that's the oldest, longest guy serving in Congress.
Okay.
Has founded the Black Caucus.
Got it. Oh, okay.
And is on the House Judiciary Committee.
Nice.
That's what it has to do with Russia.
Yeah.
The RNC flipped and backed Roy Moore. Started putting more money back into the Roy Moore campaign.
$170,000.
They pulled its support. But
Yeah.
then when Alabama went, "Fuck you," they said, "All right, we'll give it back." Russia is banned from the Olympics for doping. the athletes get to go, but they can't wear Russian flags. They can't play the Russian anthem. They have to go under like a generic
individual,
like Bob's athletes shirts. I don't know how they're going to.
No, they're like just Olympic. They wear just like generic Olympic gear.
Yeah.
They represent they stand beneath the IOC flag.
Yep, that's
That would
correct.
be cool, I think, actually.
Schiff says the House Intelligence Committee wants to question K.T. McFarlane. So that's interesting. We'll talk about her later.
Is she a country singer?
She is the deputy, well, she was the deputy national security advisor under Flynn. Flynn was her boss, and then she was promoted to be the ambassador to Singapore. Handelsblatt, a newspaper in Germany, reported that Mueller subpoenaed Deutsche Bank for all of Trump's financial records.
Deutsche Bank.
Now, immediately Trump's lawyers were like, no, it's not Trump, it's Trump's family. And so Wall Street Journal changed their subheadline. Another paper, I can't remember who, changed their headline, but the reporting all remained the same.
Exactly.
And it's Trump's stuff and his family stuff. So that's interesting, because Deutsche Bank is...
Oh, they're known for that, right? They're
Yep.
all about laundering.
They are money laundering
That's what they do.
group.
They do it best. Yeah.
They were actually fined for doing that.
Well, that's probably just if the New York attorney or New York Attorney General brings New York tax evasion charges or
can't
money laundering
pardon that,
charges,
right?
you can't pardon a state crime.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That'd be the way to go.
Veselnitskaya testified that Donald Trump Jr. asked her for proof of illegal donations to the Clinton Foundation. Veselnitskaya was the lady that was in the June 2016 meeting in Trump Tower to talk about adoptions, sanctions. So she testified that Donald Trump Jr. asked her for proof of illegal donations to the Clinton Foundation.
Interesting.
This is actually considered an in-kind campaign donation from a foreign national. It's illegal.
Oh, my goodness.
Rick Gates' lawyer came on TV and told reporters that more charges are coming. Interesting. Representative Swalwell of the House Intelligence Committee says Trump is being investigated for obstruction in the HIC as well. On Wednesday, the Russia sanctions Trump reluctantly signed into law have still not gone into effect. So... not the sanctions Obama put on Russia.
The new ones.
But the
he was
ones
forced to
where
do.
Congress was like, we better solidify these sanctions on Russia because Trump seems like he's really good friends with these guys. They passed it. They started in August, passed it in December.
Has not been enforced.
Still hasn't been enacted.
Jesus.
Yeah. Donald Trump Jr. testified for 8 hours behind closed doors.
Full day's work.
And one of the things that we know is that if you testify behind closed doors, the senators or the representatives are not allowed to come out and say what you said, but they can come out and say what you didn't say.
Right.
Which is like what happened with Jeff Sessions, where he refused to say whether or not Trump directed him to slow down the Russia investigation.
Right.
Well, apparently, Donald Trump Jr. testified that he did have a conversation with his father about the June 2016 meeting after he released the emails, and he refused to answer the question about what that conversation was about, and he actually claimed attorney-client privilege.
Father-son privilege.
Oh, yeah.
White privilege. Yeah.
Well, there were lawyers in the room.
Oh.
But that does not give you attorney-client privilege.
But A for effort, right? They're clever.
Well, yeah,
Well,
but
they're
you need
also really smart.
Attorney-client privilege can only be
between the attorney and the client.
can only be given to an attorney, not even to their client.
Yeah.
No, the
A
client.
client can plead the fifth.
Well, the client can, if they ask, no one will ever ask, what did you tell your attorney? Because he doesn't have to tell you because it's attorney-client privilege. But yes,
Also,
the attorney-client privilege also protects the attorney.
It's just a weird way for him to phrase it, right?
It's dumb.
Yeah.
It's just like they're spewing out words they hear.
Which is legal jargon.
Right.
Well,
no,
it's actually really
it's-
smart. Because if he answers the question, he could perjure himself.
So just saying a stupid answer.
or
is an
he could-
It's
alternative.
the incorrect way of saying no comment.
Right, but it worked for them in that moment.
But you look dumb.
It bought him time.
Not the first time.
It bought him time. And if you say, I do not recall, and it comes out later that you do recall, you've perjured yourself. However, these are voluntary testimonies. These aren't subpoenaed testimonies.
Okay, yeah, I didn't even think about that. You're right.
You still can't lie to Congress. It's still illegal.
Yeah.
But you can get up and leave whenever you want, which is
So
what Kushner
8
did.
hours, he just said.
He said, well, he sat there for 8 hours. He wanted to cooperate. And he did
Okay.
answer a lot of questions. They said.
Good, yeah.
We learned.
Well, he also turned over all those emails.
That was
He's
a
cooperating ass cooperator.
You're
Been
right,
cooperating.
Mm-hmm.
DTJ, stay snitching. Dude. That dude is weak.
Yeah, I know. His kids are probably all snitches.
He's like El Chapo's gay kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude,
I love it
go
that Eric,
kill some rivals or something. Pussy, stop snitching to the feds.
I love it that Eric doesn't know anything because they're like, don't fucking tell that.
Right.
I'm Eric.
Leslie Dump is actually really smart in this case. I think Kushner played too smart. He made people think he was intelligent. It's backfired.
Kushner's not smart. Kushner's a disgusting human being.
He's a horrible
Because I'm
person.
Jewish.
Yeah, sorry.
yeah.
Like, dude, I can't tell you how beat up that dude would get in my neighborhood.
He just looks like he's been through so much.
He hasn't been through
Grade school.
anything.
Just like bullies, maybe. He's
No,
had
he's
share.
a mega rich kid. He went to a
Rich
mega
nerd.
prep school,
His dad
and he
was
has
rich.
no Jewish association other than the fact that he likes money and he's an investment banker. Because
All the
how could you have
stereotypes.
any type of shred of pride in your heritage and
And
support that administration
You're
after
right.
their reaction to
totally right.
Charlottesville?
Then again,
Period.
Yeah.
Just like I don't understand how any woman or any person of color can
Yeah,
support
how can you
Donald
dog
Trump.
whistle Nazis
Yeah.
and support? How can you support somebody who dog whistles Nazis?
Exactly.
It's absolutely ridiculous. At least white nationalists, if we don't want to use the word Nazi.
Right.
We talked last week about that the cost of the Mueller investigation was going to be released this week.
Yes.
It was. Now, we had guesses. I overshot by a mile.
I'm close, right?
What'd you say?
I said 2 million.
Okay, and what did Jordan say?
Jordan said, I think 12 or 20 million. She was up in the double digits.
It's
What did you say?
I said 26 million.
So she might have been like teens, yeah.
I was way over. It's 6.7 million.
Okay.
And only 3.2 directly spent on the investigation. Everything else is ancillary.
Yeah.
And the reason, I'm pretty sure, the reason that this didn't get picked up by every single entity who's trying to discredit Mueller right now
It's because
is because it's a low number.
compared to so many things that they're spending money on.
The Benghazi one cost twice that.
Oh my God.
And there were no indictments. We've got 4.
Wow.
And we spent half that. Of course, the Benghazi one took 2
Who
years.
approves that budget?
That's he
Congress,
gets what
right?
no, he gets what he gets because he's the special counsel.
There's no like
It's going to be the Department of Justice.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be Rod Rosenstein. I'll double check that.
No worries, yeah.
But he oversees it.
Okay.
He oversees
Because I'm
it.
saying if the person that oversees that is in Camp Trump, why would they give him that much money? Give him nothing.
Well, the person that oversees it was the second in command to Jeff Sessions. He's the first command when it comes to Russia because Sessions
He's the
recused
one-
himself, and he's the guy who appointed Mueller.
Yeah.
Oh, so he's not Team Trump, it seems.
Well,
we probably shouldn't say that.
yeah, we don't know.
Yeah.
But that came out, 6.7 million.
Cool.
Flynn texted his business associate, Copson, from the inauguration dais while Trump was being sworn in that business could now move forward because Trump is going to tear up sanctions.
Isn't that like right on the stage?
And not only do they have the texts, but they have pictures of him texting.
Wow.
that Trump's going to rip up sanctions.
Time. This is beautiful.
So we'll talk a little bit about that later.
Mm-hmm.
The full Eric Prince testimony was released
Okay.
that day. Prince says, one of the interesting exchanges is Prince said, "We talked about trade." And Congressman Schiff said, "What trade matters?" And Prince said, "He said he wished trade would resume with the U.S. in a normal way."
And those are Trump's quotes?
No, this is Prince.
Oh, okay.
The meeting in the Seychelles
Right.
that was set up by the UAE.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Russian guy said he wished trade would resume with the U.S. in a normal way. You know what that means? He wished sanctions were lifted. That's what that means. So sanctions.
The wording, yeah, it's like
So we got sanctions that were talked about in the June meeting. We got sanctions in the Seychelles Islands with Eric Prince. We got sanctions lifted for Flynn to build nuclear reactors in Saudi Arabia. We got Flynn's tweet that Trump is going to rip up sanctions. We got Flynn meeting with Kislyak to ease sanctions. We got the Ukraine peace deal brokered between Cohen and Russia to ease sanctions. And we've got the Magnitsky Act.
all roads lead to sanctions.
Durr.
Yeah.
Thursday, Felix Sater testified behind closed doors. He's a Russian real estate developer, he's an FBI informant, and he's an ex-convict who's done extensive real estate deals with Trump. So he testified. I'm not sure what's going to come out of that, but
Right.
he testified. Oh, wait. Did I get everything? In Prince's testimony, some documents show that Prince met with Nunez in the summer about the Russia probe after Nunez recused himself.
Oh, he's on my fantasy league list, too.
Yes, yeah, that guy's a dick. Undisclosed emails show follow-up after the June meeting between Goldstone and Scavino. So Goldstone, the Russian guy, emailed Scavino, a Trump aide, after the June meeting, showing that there was follow-up. So when Kushner and Trump Jr. say, it was a one-time meeting, it didn't work out, we never talked about it again, they talked about it again. Mm-hmm. Russia broke a story that men from Cozy Bear, who work for the Russian KGB, it's now called something else, were arrested put black hoods over their heads and taken out of their meeting, and they revealed that this was part of a cover-up of election meddling. And it's been a secret since this happened over a year ago, and now Russia is releasing. So Putin went to great lengths to cover this up by arresting these guys who work for him.
He covers his own ass. He doesn't look out for Trump, though. That's the thing.
But now a Russian newspaper called The Bell has released saying it was a cover-up, which means Russia wants everyone to know it was a cover-up.
Right.
I haven't figured out why.
They probably won't kill the guy who published it.
I haven't figured out. Nothing gets out of there without Putin's okay.
Because Russia wants to look like they have a freer press than we do.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Trump admires that, I bet.
No, it's
manipulating
just,
the press.
If you look at it on trying to condition not the American public, because it'll never happen.
Right.
But conditioning enough of the American public to weaken the opposing Remainers to the point where they're ineffective.
Yeah.
You want to give those people, you want to continuously condition them that what's happening in Russia wouldn't be that bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it might. Yeah, they're throwing a bone to free press.
What worries me is not how bad of a President Trump is, and I don't think he could accomplish the fears we have of dictatorship or oligarchy. He's not the one.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is the norms he's conditioning us
Setting
for.
up the next guy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You put a more capable fascist in after Trump. Neither of them.
Really?
Another Republican candidate that I don't know who it is, the fucking Antichrist. And
that was Obama.
Trump's not smart enough to be the
You're right,
Antichrist.
but he's setting the foundation for the next guy.
But what I'm saying is he's ripping up all the institutions that would protect us from a capable dictator.
You're totally right. Yeah,
Absolutely.
It's equally scary.
All right, so that day also, Al Franken resigned. The Ethics Committee opened an investigation into Rep. Farenthold for sexual misconduct. Rep. Trent Franks from Arizona resigned after revealing he solicited surrogacy from female staffers.
Oh, I didn't hear about this list. Wow.
He said he was going to resign.
That's a hot excuse, by the way.
He said
I was trying to hit it, but strictly for family reasons.
Well, he said he was
My wife was down. She was going to be there.
He said he was going to resign at the end of January, and then he comes out Friday and he just resigned immediately because that was 2 hours before the news story broke that one of his staffers was offered $5 million to carry his baby, and that because he's Christian and doesn't believe in vitro fertilization, he would have to bang her himself.
Oh, man.
Creepy. All right, so the Ethics Committee found that Nunez was innocent of any wrongdoing of revealing classified information.
Okay.
So the Ethics Committee came back. The Ethics Committee, by the way, who a couple of people stepped down because they're like, this isn't ethical.
Oh.
Yeah, so Nunez, remember when he ran to the White House and then came out and gave the documents and then spilled some beans?
Back and
then,
forth,
and so that's when he recused himself. Well, now he's been proven innocent. He might try to get back in, and I think he already is trying to get back in.
Has Mueller brought him in? He hasn't been.
To head that council. I don't know if Mueller's
he
talked to
probably
him.
wouldn't even know.
But back to $5 million, my wife is going to let me bang this chick, dude. What does his wife have to say about this? Has she given a statement?
That's a good question.
She has not, that I know of.
That would be the person I'd want to ask. I want to say,
reach out
what
to
do
her.
you think? Is that true?
Yeah, send her a tweet.
Did you say that he could put his thing in this girl?
I support my husband.
Because you know sometimes, sweetie, they don't know. He might have to cream pie her 4 or 5 times for this baby to take. You know that, right?
A good thing we're explicit on that.
Yeah. This is interesting. The judge overseeing the Flynn case recused himself. And we don't know why.
And that just happened?
That happened on Thursday.
Oh.
We don't know why. It could be something like a technicality, or it could be more, it could be less. We have no idea.
Wow.
On Friday, federal prosecutors released their discovery on Manafort and Gates. And this is where basically Mueller takes all the evidence they got on Manafort and Gates and hands it over to Manafort and Gates' lawyer. Oh. It's called discovery.
Yeah.
And what he handed over was 400,000 emails and financial records and vendor records and copies of emails.
Oh my goodness.
15 search and seizure records. 36 laptops, hard drives.
What?
And flash drives.
He's been a busy boy.
Oh, yeah.
And 2,000 of those 400,000 documents are called hot documents, that they're very relevant.
Oh, what?
So this, to me, that's the fact. To me, the theory is that this was to tip your hand to show Trump and anybody involved in Russian money laundering how deep he's going.
We've got the goods.
How deep he's gotten.
Yeah. He's
You don't get like a short conversation out of 200,000 emails.
No.
You get novels.
Oh yeah. I can't wait.
There were reports that emails went to Donald Trump Jr. with a code to open the WikiLeaks dirt. But that came after the day the WikiLeaks documents were released.
Yeah.
And we don't know who they came from. They gave a guy's name, but nobody knows who he is.
Right.
So it could have just been a random dude saying, "Hey, fellas."
But it's a coincidence. So
yeah.
That's interesting, yeah.
Dina Powell, Deputy National Security Advisor, announced she's resigning. So that's another one out.
Yeah.
Papadopoulos' fiance did an interview on TV and said he acted under explicit orders from the campaign, but
her word, yeah.
she hopes Trump pardons Flynn. No.
She said Flynn?
Yeah, or Papadopoulos.
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah. She was even in love with her husband.
Yeah. She's been fucking Flynn. And wow, that's
Save
salacious.
Flynn. Yeah.
New York Times reports Hope Hicks testified with Mueller's team for 2 days.
Yes.
2 days.
Waiting on that.
They questioned her mostly about the drafting of the DT Jr. statement.
Mm-hmm.
You remember how Donald Trump Jr. was on Air Force One and he had to talk about what the June meeting was about,
Yeah.
and he ended up saying it was about adoptions. Mm-hmm. She was on the plane when that was drafted.
Nice.
So she's going to know whether Trump told Trump Jr. to say something, or if Trump can implicate himself saying he knew that the meeting was about sanctions, but to say it was about adoptions.
Right.
She's testified about that.
And they didn't come out with anything saying she refused any questions.
No. And Hope Hicks so far seems like an innocent person in all
Right.
this. We also learned that she was warned twice by the FBI in the Situation Room in the White House in January before Trump took office in a defensive briefing, which is pretty rare, that emails she'd been receiving from Russians weren't who they say they were. So not only were they like, we know you've been getting these emails because we watch your emails, and they're not who they say they are, so be careful. That was before Trump took office. So, and again, she's not in I don't think she's in trouble for anything like that.
It was more evidence to help, point in the right direction, yeah.
And Trent Franks, like I said, he decided to resign immediately because of the $5 million surrogacy. That happened Friday. Oh, and he also said this is fucked up. He said it was because his wife was sick.
Oh,
that he's resigning now instead of in January. So he's using his wife.
Is she sick?
No. I don't know, maybe, but
yeah.
Probably not. I'm a dick. That's a theory. The wife sick is a theory. I'm a dick is not a theory. That's real.
Clarify, yeah.
Now, I want to talk a little bit about some of the theories that I've been mulling over.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Muellering over.
That's an interesting
But
one,
I wanted to, Jaleesa, I wanted to give you a chance to tell us about who KT McFarlane is. Give us a little background on this lady.
Yeah, so KT McFarlane is the, mentee of, what's the guy's first name? Bud McFarlane. I get their last names confused, but Bud McFarlane is the guy who was at the Mayflower meeting. I don't know if you remember that, but April this year, or last year, there was a meeting where he was there, Kislyak was there, and there was this VIP, I guess, event before the main event that a lot of people were at, like Sessions and, I made a list. Sessions, Kushner, all of our usuals, Trump Jr., Manafort. So this event was a big deal, and the way that she got involved is because Bud McFarlane was her mentor he was kind of orchestrating this meeting and what the intentions were. And then it seems like she was pulled in because they work so closely. She ended up in the Trump administration kind of to help these plans all come through. So you can help me out with the details, but this ties into the Saudi Arabia nuke deal plans and then also the Russian sanctions.
Yeah, well, Bud McFarlane needed somebody in the Trump White House.
Right.
Because he's a Russian oil magnate. And he has always been a proponent of the Marshall Plan, which is building nuclear reactors in Saudi Arabia, which you can't do without the help from the Russians, which you can't do if there's sanctions on Russia.
They're all in it together, yeah.
So so basically you're right. They had a cocktail party. There was 24 people there. Everybody who was at that party either, let me see if I can word this properly. 1 second. Everybody that was at that party either lied about contacts with Russia or helped fire Comey. Everybody.
Yeah, exactly. It's a long list, too.
So this cocktail party, 24 people: Sessions, McFarlane, Kushner, Trump, Lewandowski, Donald Trump Jr., Manafort, Kislyak, and 3 ambassadors from Singapore, Italy, and Spain.
Who were involved with that Russian oil deal, what's that called? The
Rosneft.
Yeah, we're learning
Rosneft
so
deal.
many foreign words.
It was the biggest Russian oil deal in history, in the history of Russian oil.
And it was closing. That deal was closing, I believe, the week that Trump had this event where it was his first foreign policy speech. So that same week, they were pretty much closing the oil deal. And so all these ambassadors, all 4 of them were invited, but no other ambassadors were invited.
You aren't actually supposed to have ambassadors at those events.
Right. It's against international protocol.
But Trump's speech that night was about giving Russia a good deal. And it was actually co-written by a Russian pipeline advocate.
Bert something.
Interesting, right? So McFarlane, who wants to get all this shit done over there, he with the help of these ambassadors, Russia and Trump, he helped KT McFarlane get the national DepSec position. So she worked for Flynn. After Flynn was fired, Trump nominated KT McFarlane for the ambassador to Singapore. That was one of the ambassadors that was at the Singapore ambassador was at the Mayflower meeting.
You switched him out,
Now, the goal was to have Trump give Saudi Arabia nuclear reactor technology. But U.S. needs Russia to build them, and we have to have sanctions lifted to do it.
Oh, man.
McFarlane did lobby Trump to drop sanctions to allow his nuclear plans to go forward. And Eric Prince is also an oil man and a pipeline advocate. And now we can see why the United Arab Emirates set up this meeting between him and the Kremlin in the Seychelles.
Together,
to talk about, I hope trade is easier in a normal way, which is sanctions. Now, I don't know, but Trump began working with Russia as early as the Mayflower meeting, basically, to drop sanctions and to aid Russia with the new pipeline and nuclear deal. And that was all right before Russia started hacking the DNC.
It's been a while,
So there's no way, and I talked a little bit earlier about Flynn texting Copson, who's his business partner, from the dais while Trump is being inaugurated. He's on his phone. There's pictures of it, and he's texting him, "This is it. We're going to get this done. He's going to rip up sanctions." And he's talking about I think it's called the Marshall Plan. It's the nuclear plan. We're going to build nuclear reactors in the Middle East.
Right.
And what's fucking scary is that, let me see if I can find it, because Copson had said something to the effect of, yeah, we want to build these reactors in the Middle East, and we're going to need bases and troops to support and protect these reactors, which is a good pretext for our recolonization of the Middle East.
Oh, this is so deep. And something else is they've been saying that this whole plan is, I guess the way they're trying to word it to the public or to make it seem, lighter than it is to combat terrorism. So their whole idea...
That's their cover-up.
Yeah, it's crazy, though, because I think people might fall for that. The fear, everything comes together. Like, all of this, being afraid of...
If you think that Russia's going to help you combat terrorism, just ask him what he did with Assad in Syria.
Right.
Go fuck yourself.
It's just so scary.
Well, that answers a good question for me. As the whole time you were doing that, I was thinking, okay, cool. You want to put... Why would we not want nuclear power all over the Middle East? And the reason why is, in my opinion, probably, it's pretty unstable.
Exactly.
Because you can't give military nuclear reactors to them. You can only give civilian nuclear reactors.
Yeah, but even civilian nuclear reactors can cause a lot of damage.
Oh, yeah.
Way more
if we
than
had been,
what I'm saying is they're they're less safe than military nuclear
Oh,
reactors.
okay. I didn't know that.
of
Yeah,
course.
so they're less
But
safe.
so they're more subject to terrorist attacks or whatever. That answers my question.
Yeah.
We're going to put a bunch of troops. We'll give you nuclear reactors, and as an added benefit, we'll give you troops to protect them.
If you call now.
If you call now, you can not only get nuclear reactors, but our troops to protect them.
So scary.
Boots on the ground.
Yeah, and
Now,
you know what?
if
Those troops will not stop coming whether you like it or not.
If you just ended it there, I'd still be freaked out. If you just said this is just an excuse to build bases in the Middle East and put troops in the Middle East, I'd be like, that's fucking weird. But to go further and say that is a pretext to the recolonization of the Middle East, like what the fuck is their plan?
It's intense.
Well, that's my question, though. At this point in the story, this is my question. This is important because I struggle with this.
Right.
At this point in the story, are you more concerned for the people that will be hurt by this colonization, by what this colonization does to the empire itself, formerly known as the beacon of democracy worldwide,
Right.
and what that means for the rest of everything afterwards?
That's a good question. Yeah. So basically,
You know what I'm saying?
What's our
Like-
biggest concern with this whole plan?
Can America survive without being imperialist?
Well, here's the argument, and this is a good argument, is that, when, like, for example, when we installed a Shah over there, or there's lots of places where we've installed a government so that we can either make oil deals with them or keep them under control, keep that country under control or that
Right.
region under control. When we installed those Shahs, it actually worked to stabilize the Middle East, but we did not expect, or maybe we did, that these dictators would kill and hurt their own people and be such humanitarian monsters.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's
Thus creating a bubbling rebellion on
Against the
repeat.
United
it's Just
States.
it's just a non-stop cycle.
yeah.
You douse it with power. That power creates resentment. That resentment turns into an opposing
They
power.
take
So
them down
now,
like Gaddafi. And
check this conspiracy theory out, because we're in theories now.
Right.
And this is my own I cooked this little piece up myself, and it terrifies me. Trump announces he's moving the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. The Palestinians have called for 3 days of rage. There's firebombing in the streets. There's absolutely, people are pissed.
Right.
Particularly Palestinians. A lot of Arabic countries are fucking mad.
Yeah.
At the United States, more than usual.
Right.
They're, burning flags of the United States and Israel. And could it be, and this is going to sound like, I don't know, but could this be part of the Marshall Plan, where he gets them so angry at the United States that we either get attacked or threatened, so that he has a reason
Yeah.
to go in there and then, it would be less opposed to put nuclear reactors with troops over there by the rest of us.
Either way, they get what they want if this works out.
I don't know if it's tied to it or if he was just a stupid guy keeping a campaign promise that
Right.
makes no sense.
But the people that are smarter than him, that are on his side, they got to see these 10 steps ahead.
It's starting to seem like this is the whole thing. Is this Marshall Plan? This they want to cut a deal with Russia to build reactors. That's why they want to get rid of sanctions, which is why they're trying to negotiate with the Russians. And
It
the
all
Russians
means
want to put
something,
him
yeah.
in.
We can't call it stupid Watergate, I think, without realizing that there are probably real plans in out
Trump is
here.
stupid.
Trump
Do you guys want to make some money off this, or do you want to keep crying about the fall of
I would like
civilization?
some money.
All right, here's my idea. We make walls that are also nuclear reactors.
Oh, dude. Nuclear reactor walls.
Yeah, and Mexico will pay for all of it.
We take every country in the Middle East and we surround it with nuclear reactor walls. That way, they get nuclear power.
Yes. Protection.
And then when one of them tries to like bust through the wall, they not only kill themselves but a bunch of their comrades.
I love it. Investors welcome. Yes.
Right?
That sounds super
Can we do like the end of the world hotline where we sell end of the world products
We can
and
at
strategies?
least make the hotline. Yes.
Call now.
I wouldn't be
that.
surprised if that shit wasn't up for sale on Trump's site already.
Oh yeah. If
Yeah, Mar-a-Lago is just the tip of the iceberg with the blatant capitalism of the
I
White
believe
House.
it. Yeah, his wealth runs.
The
He
winter-
pitches. I told him the other
winter
day on
White House.
Twitter, and he read it. I said, I can't believe you're treating the presidential Twitter account like QVC. You're such a cheapskate. Because he was like pushing some Fox anchor's book.
Yeah.
And
he
it's
always
like,
is.
come on, bro.
But his base in America, they love that. I mean, he's
No,
If they could afford steaks, they'd buy his steaks.
Exactly.
No, he's Hector Mountain Dew Elizondo without the cool muscles and motorcycle and machine gun.
Mountain Dew Elizondo.
I know Hitler's always a stretch. I just feel
Let's crave it.
Yeah,
Dude, it is idiocracy.
It really
It's fucking
is.
it.
Almost, except for the
There were-
fact that he's not nearly as rad as Terry Crews.
Right. There were probably more people, I'd imagine, against Hitler or his team. But I think, like you're saying, like if the base is riled up and enough people are just not reacting, I think that's what.
I think Hitler's approval rating was 32% and his disapproval rating was 63%. No, I'm just
No, you're right. You're right.
you know, we all have our basket.
They didn't have
Deplorables, I
cable
guess.
news.
That's true. That's
They
true.
didn't have cable news or the internet
No.
in Germany.
But they did like send guys out to give speeches in bars to the people and say, "Are you tired of the banker Jews taking all your money and blah blah
Oh,
blah?"
my
So
goodness.
they had their little soapboxers.
I don't know what kind of history nerd you'd have to be to accomplish this, but if you could have a Twitter account called Pre-Holocaust German Jew, where like you talk from the perspective of a denial pre-Holocaust German Jew, like
That would be interesting to see how it all begins.
or
I wanted to do-
pre-Holocaust German. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So you have quotes of people, what they were saying,
Like it's all normal.
right
Yeah.
prior, like, and because I was serious about
It's
this
called
the
the
other day.
Trump Twitter feed.
Right. From like whatever. It took like 8 years for it really to
catch
take
up.
effect.
Yeah, yeah.
It wasn't like overnight. Everybody was like, all right, I'm a Nazi. Let's do it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And people these days, they think that. They think it's just like, oh, well, we're not Nazis or it's not like this, Hitler state because we're not there
Yeah,
yet.
but we'll
Yeah, but you put in the tax bill that you can now write off your unborn child as a dependent, and that's a tiny little step towards The Handmaid's Tale.
write off your unborn child as a dependent. What does that mean?
That's in the tax bill. They're trying to basically establish that life begins at conception.
So
they're-
if you're pregnant, well, what the hell does that have to do with taxes?
because once you do it, well, it's a dependent.
So if I got pregnant in May, and my baby wasn't born till February, I can write off my baby as a dependent from May to December.
Can't
Yep.
now.
That's in the tax bill. And once
What,
you
to
do
encourage
that,
people?
and once you do that, you are acknowledging that life begins at conception.
Oh,
Via
it's like
tax
the terms
bills.
and agreement.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a dirty trick, man.
But what's cool is like, what's funny about now is it's all getting made so fast. It pretty much can be torn down just as fast.
That's what we're hoping.
But the problem is, can we get a post purge consensus?
Yeah,
Like,
I know.
who's gonna lead the cleanup, and are we gonna agree on how to do it?
That's a good question.
Shit,
Yeah.
I don't know. Obama's tapped out. He's done two terms. All right, so here is a theory I want to talk about, and it's not really a theory, but it's something that's going on. The Republicans have started their assault on Mueller's credibility.
Okay.
The cacophony is starting to rise. They're starting to get really into this. It's on Fox News pretty much all the time now. They're trying to discredit Mueller. They're trying to say it's politically motivated. They're talking about that. Well, for example, oddly, they haven't talked about how much the Mueller investigation has cost. But they are talking about this guy named Strzok, who worked under the Mueller campaign, who texted anti-Trump sentiments to another lady who worked, not the Mueller campaign, the Mueller group.
Yeah.
And she no longer worked for Mueller, and once Mueller found out about it, he fired him.
Right.
Well, he sent him to HR.
But they're harping on this, right?
Right, saying, oh, it's this, and what did he do about it? And I'm sitting there like, well, he got rid of him immediately. They're talking about, I'm sure they're going to glom onto the fact that this judge recused himself. That could eat away at the credibility of the investigation.
Geez, yeah.
The Uranium One deal, the Clinton emails, that he was over the FBI, Mueller was over the FBI when the Uranium One deal went down and didn't do anything, even though it's not the FBI's job to investigate those things.
He didn't speak up.
It belongs to 5 other departments to let those
he didn't
deals go
resign.
through.
It pisses them off.
Yeah, like what did you want him to do? But they're also, and I mean, honestly, when you think about it, first of all, Comey and Mueller are both Republicans, lifelong Republicans.
Yeah.
They're appointed by Republicans, and they work for Republicans. So it's really interesting to see these guys flip. And I just have to say, Mueller's getting close to Trump, if he's not already got the goods.
Right.
And of course, the Republicans are going to try to discredit the investigation.
Oh, yeah.
That's how
They
shit
gotta
works.
try.
That's how shit works.
Yeah, we do the same
Well,
thing.
the
if we
fake
had-
news narrative, as it's going all the way to the end, dude.
Yeah.
He's gonna stick with the FU. I don't. At the end of the day, deny.
Yeah, dig in the hole because like he doesn't know how to tell the truth. He's too deep in, you know.
And another point is that during
he's
the
so
campaign,
sloppy with the way he's operated that you must assume, at least he thinks, he has the trump card at the end of all this, which is I'll pardon myself or it'll go away when I resign, which it will. Nobody has the will to continue to prosecute him if he resigns.
well,
They
then
just
he might
want
be
him
pardoned
gone.
as well. He could
Yeah,
be pardoned
yeah.
by
Or
whoever
get pardoned,
takes
but
his
I'm saying, like, he always knows he can do that.
You're right. Yeah.
So he'll push it as far as he needs to go.
It's so sad.
As long as he leaves a martyr and gets to keep all the bounty he scored while he was in office. It's like ugh.
It's a terrible system there.
Yeah, I wanted to bring this up because you brought this up, and what you were saying kind of leads into this. There's 3 paths Mueller can take on this. And the first path is he can indict Trump.
Right.
It's never been done. A sitting president's never been indicted. We do not know, as far as I understand it, the law is out there on this, and next week we actually have a lawyer coming in to help explain it to
Very
us.
nice. Yeah.
That you can indict a sitting president. It's just never been done, and so
Right.
we don't know how that would politically play out. It would reach the Supreme Court, and the decision would be made as to
Yeah.
whether or not that could happen. So that's one thing.
Uncharted
He
waters,
could
yeah.
charge Trump. Or he could write up a whole report about Trump breaking the law, committing felonies or whatever.
Right.
Put it all together about
All the
all
evidence.
Trump and all of his people and all the campaign, put it into a report and send it to Congress.
And just leave it at that.
Now, here's the problem with that. Nixon's Congress was Democratic. Clinton's Congress was Republican. The 2 guys who've been impeached in in the history of presidents have had opposing party Congresses.
Congress.
Right.
Congress.
And we're not there right now.
We have a Republican Congress with a Republican president.
Who will clearly pinch their nose for any indecency
You
in
know
order
it.
to push the agenda
Yeah,
forward, which
Absolutely. Yeah,
Hey,
absolutely.
they
What
don't
other
care
agenda do they
about-
have if they get the
They don't
tax
care
bill?
about Trump. He's just an easy rubber stamp.
Exactly.
And his idiocracy is a distraction to the rest of the things they're getting done that he doesn't need to
Well,
do.
they can pickpocket us while Trump
Yeah.
Trump's the front man. He's the bumper. The Congress is pickpocketing us.
So crazy.
So the third thing he can do is he can hold the indictment until Trump is out of office.
Right.
If he gets voted out in 2020, he can hold that indictment and then charge him as a citizen.
Yeah.
So those are the 3 paths Mueller can take, and frankly, because he's got a Republican Congress and dudes who are willing to let people fuck 14-year-olds, and
What about New York State charges?
well,
Like we talked about earlier.
Right.
yeah, but that's just not pardonable.
That's what I'm saying.
Right, but he.
It'd be
Wouldn't
one
he
way
have to
get him,
technically
right?
show up for court if the state of New York indicted him on tax evasion?
That would be amazing.
That could happen. Mueller could share that information with the U.S. attorney in Virginia or New York. Or
It might be a
whatever.
last resort for
He's
them.
been there.
Yeah.
So that could happen too. But I think that's still bringing charges on the president. I think that's still indicting a sitting president.
Oh, okay. It falls into category 1 or
Yeah.
plain 1. But that would be great.
It would prevent him from being able to pardon himself, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm so hopeful.
So yeah, those are
Or
three paths.
Trump throws like a bitchin' yacht party with Kim Jong-il. They turn into homies.
And Rodman.
And Gangnam Style becomes the new national anthem.
I'm down for that
Let's
shit.
get
That's
wild.
number 4.
All right, I'm gonna play a game. We're gonna play a game. This is called Who Said This?
Okay, yeah.
It's a new game that I just invented.
I like
mostly
it.
because I want to see if you know who said this.
Yeah.
All right, quote. I hope he can show he did not commit obstruction of justice and complete his term. But there are serious allegations that obstruction occurred. And in America, the Supreme Court of the United States and the American people believe that no one is above the law.
Ooh.
Senator
Flake.
You said the word Supreme Court in that statement, correct?
Yeah.
I would say it is not Gorsuch, but another conservative Supreme Court justice.
That's a good guess that you would think it was a conservative person, because it is. It's Jeff Sessions, and he said it in 1999 about Clinton.
Oh,
right. I heard this. Yeah, so that's like the sexiest quote. That's the sexiest quote.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
That's
yeah.
a good one.
So
No president above the law, right?
Yep.
Because you were
Right.
pretty clear about that.
I couldn't imagine that with the Republican
the
right
Supreme
now.
Court of the United States and the American people
That's beautiful.
believe that no one is above the law.
I want to put that like above my bed.
Who has the @SCOTUS Twitter?
Good question.
I don't know that they have their. I don't think
Pics.
they have one. It might. I know they have a blog. I don't know that there's an @SCOTUS Twitter.
Right.
Or if there is, I don't know if it's
there's
official.
two presidential Twitters, but only he.
No, not POTUS. SCOTUS.
SCOTUS,
Oh, okay,
Supreme
okay,
Court of the
yeah.
United
Not
States.
FLOTUS. Not POTUS.
There's
Yeah.
so many.
SCOTUS.
Yeah, good
But it'd
question.
be dope if you just had it. That'd be a cool rap name. Like
SCOTUS?
SCOTUS,
Ooh.
the Supreme Court.
So
you know
close
what I
to
mean?
scrotum, I've always thought. It's just such a weird.
Scrotus?
Yeah.
SCOTUS.
Can't get it out of my head.
Yeah,
One more
Scrotus.
Trump pick and it becomes SCROTUS.
Well, Scrotus is my balls Twitter. They're the Supreme Court of my dong.
I love it.
Supreme Court of my dong. The gray pubes make it distinguished.
Yeah, for shizzle.
Evidence. Let's see. Evidence that Trump knew Flynn was a criminal before he fired Comey. There's a lot of evidence coming out now, and even Trump's White House lawyers are
Yeah.
saying that.
And Obama warned him in that meeting, don't mess with Flynn because I had to can him for being janky.
Yeah, and Yates warned him. Yates actually may or may not have said that he lied to the FBI. Don McGahn, who's a Trump lawyer, has said to everyone now, yeah, no, I told him.
What if Obama knew that Trump would do the opposite and said, "Hey, don't hire Flynn again"? That'd be a really bad decision.
Yeah, reverse these. I don't know. I don't think Obama's that kind of dude.
No, not in his way.
He's that kind of dude that like kind of actually cares about the country.
yeah,
But just the whole pivot. This is, I think, pretty significant that his legal team this whole time, Mueller's been investigating, and the whole time the FBI has been investigating the Russia-Trump probe, the Russia-Trump collusion issue. They have said, no, Trump has nothing to do with Russia.
Mm-hmm.
Trump says, I have nothing to do with Russia. Sessions says, I have nothing to do with Russia.
They're not in cahoots.
Fucking douchebag Donald Trump Jr. came on and said, you're an stupid liberal asshole if you think this is I can't remember what he said, but he was like stomping his foot saying, it's ridiculous that you think we would do this
Do you
in
remember
Russia.
that? When he said that like Trump has to not watch the news because that's the only way to not kill himself?
I don't know.
Donald Trump Jr. said that on the news. It's like,
Great.
feel bad for my
Please
daddy.
watch the
Suicide.
But that's been their stance. No, we didn't have anything to do with Russia. No Russia, no Russia.
Mm-hmm.
They covered it up for a year. Now
Russia everywhere.
they're saying, well, no. Now the Trump legal team is saying, collusion's not against the law, and the president can't obstruct justice.
Mm-hmm.
So they are now laying the groundwork for
Because they
defense.
can't possibly argue the facts, so they have to argue the guilt.
Exactly, and technicality.
It's like
Really
pleading.
big on-
It's like pleading insanity to murder. They can't
Yeah.
possibly argue the merits of the case, so I'll just say I was insane and try
Right.
and play that.
Like you were saying with like an Alzheimer's situation or
Yeah,
something.
it's just-
Yeah, just
I mean, I don't think
moonwalk out
he's
of
got-
the White House.
He doesn't got the nuts for a trial, dude.
I don't think so either.
Yeah,
Well, he won't.
no.
He won't do that to himself.
All right,
He'll find
so
it more entertaining and valuable dismount.
So we're going to go on to some questions, because I don't think anybody's indictment picks have changed, other than, actually, I mean, Gates' lawyer said there'll be more charges in the Manafort case, but they've already been arrested. They've already been indicted. So I don't think our indictment picks are going to change very much for the Indictment Fantasy League. But I did want to get to some questions.
It's pretty dope.
So great.
You got any picks?
Do I have any picks? I need to think about that.
All right, let me go to questions while you think. No, there's no money involved. There's no money involved. But I wanted to get to these questions really quick. In fact, I have to tell you guys, there weren't a lot of questions, but there was a lot of traffic on the Mueller She Wrote page on Facebook, and I just wanted to read a comment that I got from a loving fan.
Okay.
John Spurlock says, "Oh, I see. You think you're an entertainer. Couldn't find anything useful to do with your life? By the way, I travel a lot and sit in airports when your shit comes up on my page. I feel you should consider my opinion. If you didn't put your crap up, people with real jobs wouldn't be commenting. Oh, and yeah, fuck you in the heart, bitch."
Wow, big closer. I love that closing line.
Fuck you in the heart, bitch?
I think someone might have broken
Do you know how
heart.
do you know how tiny your dick has to be to fuck my ventricles?
That's a very point.
Or how massively destructive it is to just blow a hole
That's
in your chest.
Marquis de Sade shit right
He was
there.
picturing some type of real massive
yeah.
chest cavity.
Like
shit.
you titty fuck and then you just
titty
go
fuck,
through.
but
That's intense.
No, but not this way, straight in.
Yeah.
It's like killing a vampire with your dick.
Like a stake through the heart.
He's got my wooden stake and I'm putting it through your heart.
Here's what's great, and here's what I frankly I have to pat myself on the back for this. I actually, when I boost our posts and do marketing, I target Trump supporters in flyover states.
Oh, good job. No, that's why we've been getting a lot of it. Yeah,
we get a lot of spins from the
Interesting.
flyover states. So
shout out to John.
yeah, there you go, Mr. Spurlock. You enjoy your weird life.
They're probably our biggest listeners, our biggest group of listeners.
I know it's strange to me. So anyway, do you have any picks for the indictments?
Let's see who's on deck. I think. You said Kushner was your pick for this week, and it didn't happen?
Yeah, Kush is
Right.
coming soon, I think.
We're thinking anyone in the future. Who would you
I'm
pick?
going with Kushner. Next?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kushner. I'd really like to see something happen with Melania.
Oh.
I need her brought into this story somehow.
You just want to hear her testimony?
No, I want to watch her give it because I think she's actually pretty hot.
Oh.
For Crazy D, I can't believe he pulled such a decent woman. Not that she's a good woman. I don't know anything about her.
We don't know a lot about her.
I call her hot slave Melania.
Oh God.
She probably feels that way
I
a
feel
little bit.
bad for her because of that speech. Because I truly believe she did not know
It was
That was Michelle Obama's speech.
Yeah, that's gotta be embarrassing.
And I feel really bad for her because I know it's 100% attributable to how cheap and janky that dude is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he probably didn't pay for a good speechwriter for his wife.
Exactly, yeah.
A good speechwriter would not have given the First Lady of America a plagiarized speech.
Because that's just so...
It's rookie.
Yeah.
That's less than rookie. We didn't.
Yeah, it's
we
like
can't even do that.
He hired his wife's speechwriter off Craigslist.
It's like someone
Ever
trolled
since
them.
that happened, I'm kind of on Team Melania.
Okay.
Because
I like
I
Melania.
feel like she's a captive.
See, you
Well,
wanna
I don't
see-
think she's going to be indicted.
Yeah, but you want to see her help someone get indicted. Is that what you're thinking?
I just want to see her on Team Rollover, Team Snitch.
Oh, okay. Flip. You're going to flip Melania.
Okay, yeah, her testimony could be revealed.
Yeah.
I don't think she has anything to plead guilty to. But yeah,
Not
Kushner,
loving
and then
Trump.
I think Kushner, and I think he's gonna when the day I think Kushner is indicted, which I'm hoping is before Christmas.
Yeah.
I don't know. It could be January. We don't know.
Right.
As long as I get a catchy hashtag, I'm fine. But I think a couple other people will go down with him. Smaller fish will go down with him as a message. But I think in the next round, it's only going to be one big name, and I think that's Kushner. So.
We'll see, yeah.
What do you know about homie's bodyguard that got brought in?
Oh yeah. He went in and testified, and nothing's
'Cause
really
he
come
left
out about
pretty early.
him.
He was like, I'm out of here.
He probably just gave him information and then they were done.
Or we don't know. Maybe he's rolling on him too. He could be one of the ones that's announced alongside Kushner. There's been so many people that have been interviewed,
or
though.
just confirming someone else's story. Anything. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll see if Nunez takes over the committee and if the Republicans keep trying to obstruct this thing, we'll see how it goes. But I think Mueller is working in fast fashion to prevent those things from happening. So
Definitely.
next week, you guys, we have a special guest, Jordan Parker. He's an attorney.
I like Jordan.
Yeah, and our Jordan will be back.
And the other Jordan will be here. So he's an attorney with litigation experience. He went to UCLA and Tulane. He was a community organizer in the 2008 campaign. We're going to go over the process of impeachment. We're going to go over what Mueller can and can't do. And I have some questions for him about the parallels to the Nixon and Clinton impeachment.
Nice.
So that's going to happen next week. Again, we didn't get to a Making America Nazi.
If we ever.
Maybe we'll just create a whole podcast around that one article at some other point.
Yeah.
But we will get to it at some point. I implore you to read it. It's in The Guardian. It's a really good article. We might get to it at some point. We're just so jam-packed with news every week. So I just want to say thank you very much.
I'm Jaleesa Johnson.
Hey guys, I do want to thank you, and it really was fun playing this fantasy game with you. But I do want to be very clear that this was all fake news, and long live Lord Trump. You can catch me at Sex, Drugs, Jokes.
Heck yeah. I'm AG. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks.
Thank you for listening to Mueller, She Wrote. This podcast is executively produced and hosted by AG. Your co-hosts are Jaleesa Johnson and Jordan Coburn. Jordan will be back next week. Our guest this week was Zach Miller, a very funny comedian and show producer. As always, please like, share, and subscribe on iTunes. And let us know if you have any questions on Facebook or Twitter at Mueller, She Wrote.